Stop wasting money on heels that hurt, because there's one style that's about to make everything else in your closet look boring. Here's the thing about mules. They're the one shoe that looks expensive even when it's not. You slide your foot in, no straps, no buckles, nothing holding you back, and somehow that simple design ends up looking more put together than shoes that have 10 straps wrapped around your ankle. It's strange how that works, but it's true. So today we're going deep into mule high heels, why they're blowing up right now, why so many people get them wrong, and how you can wear them in a way that actually turns heads instead of making your feet hurt by 7 p.m. Let's start with the problem, because there is one, and a lot of people run into it without even realizing. Most people think mules are hard to walk in. They see a shoe with no backstrap, and their brain goes straight to, "That's going to fall off my foot the second I take a step." And honestly, that fear isn't completely wrong, because if you buy the wrong pair, that's exactly what happens. You end up shuffling around like you're afraid to lift your foot too high, gripping your toes just to keep the shoe on, and by the end of the night, you're carrying them in your hand instead of wearing them. That's the problem, not the shoe itself, but not knowing how to pick the right one. See, mules work differently than regular heels. There's no strap around your ankle, so the whole shoe depends on the fit around your toes and the shape of the front. If that part is loose, the whole thing is loose. If it's too tight, your toes get squished and it's uncomfortable in a completely different way. So people try one bad pair, decide mules just aren't for them, and go back to the same boring pumps they've had for 3 years. But here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. The right pair of mules, ones that actually fit the shape of your foot, feel more secure than you'd think. The trick is in the front of the shoe. A good mule hugs your toes just enough, and the heel height keeps your foot naturally tilted forward, which keeps everything in place without a strap doing the work for you. Once you feel that, you get it. It just clicks. Let me tell you about a moment that really opened my eyes to this. I remember trying on my first real pair of mule heels a while back. Low expectations, honestly just picking them up because they looked nice on the shelf. I slid my foot in, and my first thought was, there's no way I can walk in these without them flying off. But I took a few steps, and they just stayed. No slipping, no adjusting every 5 seconds, nothing. It felt almost too easy compared to strappy heels that dig into your skin all night. And that's when I started paying attention to why mules were suddenly everywhere. Every time I scrolled anything fashion-related, there they were. Pointed toe mules, square toe mules, block heel mules, thin stiletto mules. It wasn't just one style either. It was becoming the shoe people reached for when they wanted to look like they put in effort without actually trying too hard. That's the real magic of mule heels. They give you that effortless look. You're not dealing with buckles, you're not spending 5 minutes strapping yourself in before you leave the house. You just slide them on and you're out the door, looking like you spent an hour getting ready. Now let's talk about the actual eye candy part, because this is where it gets fun. Mule sandals specifically, the ones that leave your toes and the sides of your feet a little more open, they do something regular closed mules can't. They show off your feet in a way that feels classy instead of try-hard. Think a pointed or square open toe, a thin strap or two crossing near the front, and then that clean open back that makes your legs look longer the second you put them on. It's a small detail, but it changes the whole look of an outfit. Pair those with a simple dress, and suddenly the shoes are doing all the talking. Pair them with jeans and a plain top, and it instantly looks more expensive than it actually is. That's the kind of shoe that works overtime for you. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Mule heels actually work for way more body types and foot shapes than people assume. Because there's no strap cutting across your ankle, they don't visually chop your leg in half the way some heels do. Your leg just flows straight into the shoe. That's part of why they look so good in photos and why so many people say mules make their legs look longer without doing anything different. Okay, so let's get into the climax of this whole thing, the moment that really made me switch almost my whole heel collection over to mules.
I was getting ready for something last minute, one of those nights where you don't have time to be fussy with your outfit. I grabbed a plain black mule heel because it was the easiest thing to slide on fast. And when I looked in the mirror, I actually stopped for a second. It wasn't even a fancy shoe, it was simple, one color, nothing flashy, but it made the whole outfit look finished, like someone who knew exactly what they were doing, even though I basically grabbed the first shoe near the door. That's when it hit me. Mule heels aren't just a trend, they're basically a shortcut to looking put together. You don't need to overthink the outfit around them because the shoe already does half the work. So if you've been sitting on the fence about trying mule heels, here's my honest take. Start with a low or block heel version if you're nervous about balance, because it gives you the same look with a lot more stability. Once you get comfortable in those, you can move up to a thinner heel if you want that extra elegant look for something like a night out or a dinner. And when it comes to the actual shoe, always check the front fit before anything else. Your toes should feel snug, not squished, not sliding forward every time you walk. That's the part that makes or breaks whether a mule feels secure or feels like it's about to fall off. Color-wise, you really can't go wrong starting with a plain black or a nude tone because those go with almost everything you already own. Once you're comfortable, that's when you can start playing with things like animal print or a pop of color or even a metallic finish for something that really stands out. At the end of the day, mule heels are one of those shoes that look way more complicated and expensive than they actually are. They're simple, but that simplicity is exactly what makes them look so good. No straps, no fuss, just a clean shape that does all the heavy lifting for your outfit. So if you've been stuck wearing the same old heels for years, this might be your sign to finally grab a pair of mules and see what all the hype is actually about. Trust me, once you feel how easy they are, you're not going back. If this helped you see mule heels differently, go watch the next video because it's going to change how you shop for shoes completely.